would be the highest honor, if I am confirmed, to lead those who volunteer to support and defend the Constitution and to defend our people. All my remarks today recognize that it is only with the advice and consent of the Senate that I can be confirmed.
I've watched 3 presidents commit themselves to a new relationship with Vladimir Putin. All 3 have been an abysmal failure. Should we ignore the lessons of history in our relationship with Vladimir Putin, and what should we be doing?
Chairman, history is not a straitjacket, but I've never found a better guide for the way ahead than studying the history. Since Yalta, we have a long list of times that we've tried to engage positively with Russia. We have a relatively short list of successes in that regard. And I think right now the most important thing is that we recognize the reality of what we deal with Mr. Putin, and we recognize that he is trying to break the North Atlantic Alliance, and that we take the steps, the integrated steps, diplomatic, economic, military, and the alliance steps, the working with our allies to defend ourselves where we must.
As we are all aware, that following World War II, a world order was established, which has held for basically the last 70 years. Do you believe that that world order is now under more strain than it's ever been?
I think it's under the biggest attack since World War II, sir, and that's from Russia, from terrorist groups, and with what China is doing in the South China Sea.
And that would argue for us making sure we're adequately prepared to meet these challenges.
I think deterrence is critical right now, sir, absolutely, and that requires the strongest military.
Do you think we have a strong enough military today in order to achieve that goal?
No, sir. Sir, I believe that we're going to have to manage that competition between us and China. There's another piece of wisdom from antiquity that says fear, honor, and interest always seem to be the root causes of why a nation chooses to go to hostilities. And I would just say that what we've got to do is engage diplomatically, engage in terms of alliances, engage economically, and maintain a very strong military so our diplomats are always engaging from a position of strength when we deal with a rising power. NATO, from my perspective, having served once as a NATO Supreme Allied Commander, is the most successful military alliance probably in modern world history, maybe ever. And it was put together, as you know, by the greatest generation coming home from a war to defend Europe against Soviet incursion by the military, their military. Yet the first time it went to war was when this town and New York City were attacked. It's the first time NATO went into combat. So my view is that nations with allies thrive and nations without allies don't. And so I would see us maintaining the strongest possible relationship with NATO.